window. 6, I guess. And I feel in many ways, I think it's a lot higher than that. And in many ways, I think 6 is about right. Again, I like the way we've plugged the gaps in the team. You know, we've brought in 3 players. We've brought in a midfielder with experience, Trossard with experience. Obviously, Kyrgios's got experiences, but is in his early 20s, can play in midfield as well as left-sided centre-half, an area Mikel Arteta allegedly wanted to address and provide competition and cover for Gabriel. So I pat us on the back for that. I also praise us for reacting because end of the day, you can have your targets. If it doesn't work, you need to bring people in. So this time a year ago, we were just screaming. We tried. We did like the fact that we was getting rid of players and kind of flushing players out, but we tried, couldn't help us towards the tail end of the last season and continue our momentum, really. So I like that we've learned. Bits, you know, a bit, obviously going to be a bit snooty when you're linked with, you know, certain players and stuff like that, but just feels like another one where we've done good things, but maybe we wanted to do a bit more. I did think we were kind of scattergun about it. While I like that we reacted to not getting our first choice targets, we obviously have signed first choice targets, you know, already, you know, at this football club under Edu, but whenever it's one of them Mudryks and João Felix and Calcedo, obviously there's circumstances around all these moves as to why they did or didn't happen. Hasn't quite got over the line. Vlahovic hasn't really got over the line, whether these things would have or wouldn't have worked out of people. You look at hindsight, because we were linked with Buendia. We was in talks with Buendia. It didn't bang. Rafinha, I'm sure Chelsea and Arsenal fans right now with the way Rafinha's playing, not that it might last forever, are probably pretty happy in hindsight. And it just feels like we have a plan. We plan. We've got some good principles. And obviously we have shown we've reacted to Spaniards being thrown in the works. But it's almost a plan that's hinging on nothing going wrong, really. So I'd say a 6, 7 out of 10. If they help our, that could be enough to just help us keep ticking over to the end of the season and achieve, hopefully, getting into Europa League final and Champions League football via the domestic campaign as a minimum. How much do you think they would sell Tierney if the opportunity arose? Probably 40. Hopefully he could get 50, but we signed him for 25. So it'll probably be charged, you know, asking a decent sell-on clause in, you know, in his contract. Not activating Benacia's 50 million / 44 million pound release clause before he extended his this month was an oversight, in my opinion. I can't see why we went in for him. Just turned 25, quality, versatile, and reasonably priced. I can't either. You know, maybe we did, and maybe indirectly we asked, and his agent said he's not keen on that. I don't know, but I'm with you, man. And he was a former Arsenal player, and he was linked with us. But then again, what's been projected in the media, who knows? I always say, anytime we're linked with players in Italy, I look at it with a pinch of salt, even though we've obviously sent a few players out there and brought at least a couple as well. So we don't know. If he was never on the list, then I can't be mad we didn't sign him. Whether he should have been on the list is another conversation. United got Casemiro, and look what he done. He's over 30. Exactly. But they're going to need, that's why United should probably still be in for Declan Rice, because they're going to need that. And obviously, like against us, similar to when we had no Partey against them at Old Trafford, and really we can't complain because we should have been signing people. You know, they can't complain about not having Casemiro at the Emirates, and they could have had someone in place because, again, obviously, Casemiro's a fantastic player for United. He's a fantastic player, what he's done in the game. So there is going to be, does he go out on loan for another season? Does he stay out at Crystal Palace for a full season? Do we look to sell him and say, you know what, you're an asset, or do we reintegrate? So if you return from South London, not a better player under Patrick Vieira, because you couldn't have picked Vieira, because you couldn't have picked a better club and a better man to learn from in midfield, away from obviously someone like Mikel Arteta. Crazy, innit? Eddie had a point to prove, and so does Lokonga. So does the man in the green screen, Jorginho. Everyone thinks you're going to sit on the bench and you're damaged goods. You know, people are saying, oh, you know, you're 31. Arsenal should have done this, should have done that. You know, the sporting director who brought you to the club, he's facing a lot of nonsense behind it, you know. So I'm sure he's got a positive, you know, fire in his stomach to want to do things and not be on the bench and prove people wrong. So go and do it. Brighton should have renegotiated Calcedo's contract since the summer. There's youth players on more than him, and he's a talented first-team player. Exactly. They sent him, they've loaned him out. They signed him for 5 million. There was a World Cup. That's probably why he's got new agents, to get him out of that situation or to get him a new deal. Navas has signed for Forest, I think, on loan, but it's a done deal, official settings. Crazy. Not quite the Mesut Ozil deadline day, is it? How can a club languishing in 10th in the league still get better deals because, you know, they're just putting down the money and doing what they need to do. And realistically, Chelsea are not going to be 10th forever, you know, really. I know it's very easy to point towards that. And by all means, as an Arsenal fan, I love that. But we can't be lazy like that. Obviously, I hope they continue to be there. Arsenal becoming the Atletico Madrid of London, man. Stop that, man. Don't say that, man. With Jorginho signing, it does boost the average age of Arsenal ever so slightly. So we're going to slowly not be able to run that. We've got the youngest squad team. But yeah. Twitter's having a field day with all of these jokes. Maybe tour the Twitter websites. Is there any? Come on, man. There must be a one more signing. There must be something, man. Come on. Apparently, Trossard missed training today. No issues. His girlfriend is expecting a child anytime now. You've got to think again with these footballers' lives. I know Brighton isn't that far from London, people, but as a footballer, Trossard looked like he was going to leave to join Arsenal or somebody else. You know, his partner is pregnant. Like, it's a turbulent time to want to move, and, get a new house and all of these sort of things. Again, I do think in life, if people could look at footballers from more of a human perspective, it would all probably be a lot nicer. But at the same time, we're not here to see good human beings necessarily. That's an added extra, and that's how everyone should be. We're here to see football. Now Cedric will leave, so we're still the youngest. Keep it up, man. Now we still got the youth project. Chelsea got a hell of more bread than us. Loan until the end of the season, no option. Fair enough then. Fair enough. That's good then. Agreed. Balogun is shining. Definitely need him back next season for all comps. I hear you, but I hear you, and I'm not ruling it out. But you've got Eddie, you've got Jesus. You probably bring another attacker in. You've got Champions League football. Balogun would probably have to wait to get a look in unless there was injuries or things like that, respectfully to him. You've got an appreciating asset. Could it be worth him going on loan to a bigger French team or staying in France? Could it be worth him going to the Premier League? That's why I think all options should be open. I think he should return or have a conversation with him and the scouting team and everything, see where he's at. Does he stay and challenge and try and break in? Does he go on loan again? Does he, if there's a certain offer, while he could, double in value one day, do you have a decision to make, really? Who knows, man? Yeah, Balogun's doing well. Keep it up, man. How many young players can you say? I know it's just, well, to be fair, this season he scored twice against PSG, has he not now? Technically, he scored twice against PSG. You've got obviously Mbappe, Neymar, and Messi on the pitch, and he was better than them in a day. Keep going, man. I still think Balogun is somewhat behind Eddie and Nketiah at the moment. We got to remember, I think, as Eddie has shown, whether you rate him or not, he's still developing. At 23, he's now starting. There's a certain level of consistency you can see with Eddie. He still needs to go up the gears, but it's been very turbulent from 18 years of age, especially when you're not playing consistently and you're getting some minutes. Again, not criticizing because he wasn't necessarily ready for such. I still think in terms of speed of decision-making, in terms of link-up play, in terms of physicality, Balogun is ticking over and building on the experience from Middlesbrough. He's in line with where I expect him, but I still think he's behind them two. And, when you're someone like Balogun, you've been exposed. I'm not saying he wouldn't come back and fight for a spot, but you've been exposed to first team football. You're playing week in, week out. You're seeing what real football's about. Because I'm sure he's had about 2 managers at Reims now. You're playing and sharing a picture with Messi and you're bucking on Reed during the games. It's very different to sit on the bench now. So we'll have to see, man. We'll have to see. To be fair, I don't mind anyone's leftovers, man. Eddie and Nketiah got released by Chelsea and then he went to Savage them, innit? And he's helped us in the games, mate. Leave us alone. Big up you for typing in caps, man. I hear the excitement. There'll be a lot of Chelsea supporting children in 9 months from now based on this transfer, I guess. Same way if Arsenal win the league, I'm sure. Who knows? I might even pop out with them now. I might. What else you've said? Don't Forest already have Henderson? They're making signings for no reason. Didn't he pick up a knock? Think Balogun can improve his link-up play, but he's a good finisher with pacing behind. We should sell him, but have a buyback option in the future of Balogun. Ideally, like what Tammy's got at Roma, but these things are a bit football managery. Balogun, best striker in Liga agendas. I mean, he's got to be one of the top goal-scoring English players at this moment in time. I'd say you got Rashford, you got Kane. Slightly, I don't even know if Eddie's there. I'm capping with that, but Balogun's got to be there. He's doing better than Tammy Abraham, surely, right now. Our neighbours down the lane, who they got? Dane Scarlett and them kind of brothers. Spurs are still claiming the Harry Kane youngster thing. Them man are shameless, man. It's a myth that Chelsea have more bread than us. That's not true. We just raise much more revenue and our owner is even richer than he is. Them man's thing is different, Conte wants to go out. Kroenke wants to go out another way. 88 likes, people almost at 100. Even peeping over the fence, Chelsea. But I'll be doing the same thing. Like if I was an academy scout and I heard Chelsea, let's just say this random team in South London, Chelsea are picking up a lot of boys from there and they're signing for their academy. I live in North. I know nothing about this team. I might not even remember their name. But because I hear Chelsea are signing these players, I might go over there and see what's going on. And that's what everyone should be doing. Scarlett's 18. We got agendas, bro. All right, cool. Where's Scarlett? Where's half your young players? Where's Troy Parrott and them? They're not on nothing. They're not on nothing, man. Meaty Duns. I see Onoma is signed for some meaty team. He cancelled his contract. What's going on? Hudson Odoi, Billy Gilmore doing better, man. There's levels. You lot are dead. What, Tanganga and that? I hear it, man. Shout out Tanganga. I hear it, man. Your youngsters are sick, bro. Oh my God, I'll trade the Highlanders for you lot. Wow. I can't, on a serious note, I can't remember his name. You lot have one sick under 16-year-old who's City are trying to tap up as well. So be easy, but I can't remember his name, but he's wavy, man. Very decent little attacking player, like shoot from range and that. Can't remember his name. Who? Man said Troy Parrott. I don't know them guys, man. I don't know them guys. What youngsters have you got? Alfie Devine. Where is he? Alfie Devine hype. Good player, though. I actually like him. I'm surprised he hasn't been given a look in. Oliver Skip. That's a typical Spurs Academy player. Harry Winks, rubbing out. To be fair, they signed the next Chelsea youngster, Jude. You know that belt you. Smith Rowe can be chubby, boy. He's won a trophy. He's won a trophy at our football club. He scored 10 league goals last season or more than that. What have you done? He's been called up to England. What has Dane Scarlett done? What has half your youngsters done? Marcus Edward leaves and he becomes lit. That PSV that signed for Chelsea. Oh God, another one I forgot signed for Chelsea. None Maduke cut out. He's still doing that Dele Alli thing, getting booed by his own fans. Boy, Robbie Ute, man. Robbie Ute. When you're getting money and things work, you start getting the money. Got shout out to Smith Rowe. That's my guy. He can eat as much Nando's as he wants. You know what time it is when he bucks you lot in the North London derby. You saw what he did last season. You leave Smith Rowe alone, mate. Name your Spurs youngsters. Nobody knows Spurs youngsters. Shout out to you lot, though. If you don't want to play me, I don't mind taking the trip to Anfield, though. It is what it is, man. Some Spurs guy. No, I just said Skip will make it at your club, and he did. It's not my fault. I know what's going on. He's always injured, bro. But that's better than Chelsea's chopping bread now. Maybe the greatest pen missed. Don't know why, but I just felt to draw out Hudson Odoi. He's not even involved. Yeah, they bought that dude. Oh, big up Omari Hutchinson, man. I like him a lot. Dele Alli got booed at halftime in Turkey. That man there, man. Thought Rabonas would save him for the rest of his life. Meaty guys, man. But less of that, man. Shout out to you lot, man, especially if you don't support Arsenal. Small glimmer of hope. Let me check the websites and see what's going on. Trossard, Jorginho, Kirio additions. Fair enough. EDU and Arteta. Hopefully they can help talking over. Working for the option. Yeah, I'd work for Spurs. What do you mean? As much as I love Arsenal, bro, that's a means to an end. I get to work in football, bro, whether that's scouting or whatever, broski. What do you mean? I'm sure Arsenal can forgive me. What do you mean? What do you think this is? Doherty's an Arsenal fan. Spurs gave him an opportunity to join a team competing higher up in the Premier. You expect man not to take that, bro? What do you mean? I just want a better life like everyone. What do you think this is? What else have we got? I think Balogun will bang good. I hope he has, but as you've shown, you got to take time with strikers, and it's a techie time because you know we can't wait 3-4 years necessarily as a club because we might sign other players, other things are going on. But I think as you've seen with strikers, and I've said it before, I'm not saying Balogun or Eddie or anyone will, even Dane Scarlett, even though we're running banks. I'm not saying these guys will reach the Harry Kanes, the Aubameyans, the Vardys, and what they've done in the game or the leagues they've played in and the goals they've scored. But for young players with this potential business, I don't think people really give players time to really develop. They say they can be these stars of tomorrow and they're on this level and they don't think about the days that takes to get there. They just want to wake up one day and they're there. You know, Aubameyang in his early 20s, where was he? Kane didn't just go up like that playing for Spurs. Where was he? Vardy wasn't even a professional footballer until 28. So I think strikers, players in general, develop at different rates, really. So I do think if you was to sell Balogun tomorrow for 40, 50 million euros, there may be a time where we look back like, bloody hell, that was a deal. But there also might be a time where it might have been useful for the team. But Hayland has to produce. We have to get better at outgoings as a club, and Hayland has to produce money for us. You know, there was a time where you may have got a decent fee for Reece Nelson. You could have got 20 million for Ainsley, who's wasting away at Southampton and evidently doesn't fit into what we're doing. You know, maybe if Eddie, you know, let's just say the best striker in the world becomes available and wants to join Arsenal tomorrow, and you want to use Jesus in the squad as well, Eddie might unfortunately have to be sold. Not saying that would be the case, but you can make money. And maybe, you know, being devil's advocate, where you look at the pursuits of Mudryk, the price of the loan for João Felix, rightly or wrongly, the price tag that Brighton did or didn't want for Caicedo and this third and final bid myth, or whether it happened or not, maybe you could have made some academy money and said, you know what, in normal circumstances, I don't want to pay what they'll give us for what they say they want for Mudryk. I don't want to do what they want for João Felix, and I don't really want to budge on the asking price for Brighton. But with us making money in you know, in this pot, let's throw that towards this and maybe it gets it done. I don't know, people. Look how Liverpool reinvested the Coutinho money. So I'm not too sure, man. But and it's not as easy as that, of course, but it all depends how you look at things. The next step for Arsenal is clearly retaining players to new deals, selling players sometimes for Arteta and Edu, they're paid to do it. Where, you know, how many times there's also a degree of managers having to make unpopular decisions. There might come a time where I'm exaggerating, but Bukayo Saka and maybe Granit Xhaka are two of the first names on the team sheet, or Odegaard or Saliba, where to go to the next level where nobody but Mikel Arteta or internally in that club, they can see it. They might have to make an unpopular decision of something that will, you know, get all the airwaves talking, and we might look at them like, why are they doing that? To be fair, Arteta has shown he'll make bold decisions. We're gonna have to get into a scenario where we can assemble curtain raisers and things like that. For example, we're gonna have to probably overpay for a player. You know, we're gonna have to be a lot harsher as a football club, even to certain players. For the, you know, as much as I'm giving examples for players that play week in, week out, this might not be a thing. You know, all these players might get bigger and better and better and better and better, but sometimes in life you got to be cruel to be kind. And the bigger you get, the more expectations and the more ruthlessness you have to keep showing. You know, you look at historically Pep Guardiola, Arsene Wenger in his prime, Sir Alex Ferguson, they made unpopular decisions. They forever kept going, forever switching up the cycles and things like that. And they will become that because we've got some experienced players in and around the team. So I wouldn't know how you do that, but this is why Mikel Arteta, Edu, and all these other dons are involved in this discussions. But the next step is outgoing and making difficult decisions, outgoing, getting better at selling, obviously, you know, and probably getting these first choice targets, these long projected transfers over the line, which we have done on occasion. Yeah, man. I would say, and also I'd say for next time, probably, and again, it's difficult. We're not privy to all the finer details and the games that are played with clubs, with agents, with players, with middlemen and things. Because sometimes agents will play off clubs with each other. Same way clubs will play off players in the sense of we might make out our interest in a player is more than it is and entice them. And on the back burners, we've got other things going on. Players do that to people all the time. Agents play games, you know. You know, for Caicedo playing devil's advocate, his new agent could have played Chelsea and Arsenal against each other to get a new contract. Douglas Luiz, in hindsight, may have been on joining Arsenal, but may have leveraged Arsenal's interest to get a new deal at Aston Villa and be comfortable there. You'll just never know. But the next step, I would say, is appear to the public a bit less scattergun, get those big money signings over the line, get better at selling, and I'd say do things a bit quicker, really and truly. But yeah, I'd give the market, for me, a 6 out of 10. I think, as I said previously, we've reacted well to not getting our first choice targets. We've signed some experienced individuals, well, 2 experienced individuals. Kyria, we have to see, but he seems like a typical Arteta player, one that we was looking at for a couple of months now. So they've got a long-term target out. There's obviously another option of the left-sided centre-back and one in midfield. Trossard is a very shrewd addition, very much an Arsenal player, as I believe Jorginho is, and they can help us with continuing our momentum at this pivotal time in the window. But we are going to have to address these things one day. So yeah, man.